The music world was rocked to its core when news broke that Chris Brown, one of the most talented yet controversial figures in the industry, had been sentenced to life imprisonment following the highly publicized trial linked to Sean Diddy Combs. This verdict stunned fans, industry insiders, and the public alike, as Brown's career has been a roller coaster of highs and lows. But many did not expect it to end with such a severe legal consequence. The trial itself was the culmination of months of investigation and courtroom drama, which exposed the dark and complicated relationship between two of hip-hop's biggest names. The case originated from an altercation at a private event hosted by Diddy, but the layers of accusations, testimonies, and legal maneuvers that followed revealed far more than just a simple dispute. As the trial unfolded, details emerged that painted a troubling picture of violence, rivalry, and personal vendettas, leading to a verdict that changed the trajectory of Brown's life forever. The sentence shocked the entertainment world because it was unprecedented for a star of Brown's caliber, who, despite previous brushes with the law, had never faced anything remotely close to life imprisonment. This case did not just focus on the violent incident itself, but also highlighted the broader implications of celebrity conflicts spilling over into criminal matters, forcing fans and critics to reconsider the true cost of fame and the accountability that even the biggest stars must face when crossing legal lines. The incident that sparked this monumental trial occurred at an exclusive, star-studded event hosted by Sean Diddy Combs in Los Angeles late last year. What began as a seemingly minor disagreement between Chris Brown and Diddy quickly escalated into a full-blown physical confrontation that involved their entourages and resulted in serious injuries and property damage. According to eyewitness accounts, tensions had been simmering for weeks due to unresolved personal issues and competitive tensions within the music industry. At the event, heated words were exchanged, and before anyone could intervene, violence erupted. Reports detailed scenes of chaos, fists flying, expensive equipment shattered, and innocent bystanders caught in the crossfire. Law enforcement quickly responded to emergency calls, and what initially seemed like a nightclub brawl became the subject of a criminal investigation. As the investigation progressed, prosecutors found evidence suggesting that Brown was not just reacting, but had allegedly planned to provoke and escalate the conflict. The charges against Brown included assault with a deadly weapon, conspiracy, and other felony offenses, making the case much more severe than typical celebrity altercations. Meanwhile, Diddy faced scrutiny over his role in the events but avoided charges, sparking debates about justice and influence. The investigation revealed a darker side of celebrity culture, where fame and power often mask violent tendencies and toxic rivalries, setting the stage for a courtroom battle that would captivate millions and expose the high stakes behind the glitz and glamour. The courtroom became a theater of high drama as the trial commenced, captivating not only legal experts but also fans and media worldwide. Prosecutors built a formidable case against Chris Brown, presenting an overwhelming array of evidence that included surveillance footage from the venue, phone call transcripts, and detailed eyewitness testimonies describing Brown's aggressive behavior and alleged role as the instigator. Several witnesses recounted harrowing experiences, with some describing how Brown and his group appeared to plan the attack, while others emphasized the fear and chaos that ensued. The defense fought back hard, arguing that Brown was provoked and acted in self-defense amid a volatile and unpredictable environment. They tried to paint a picture of mutual hostility and suggested that Diddy's provocations were equally responsible for the outbreak of violence. A particularly shocking twist came when a surprise witness, a former insider from Diddy's inner circle, took the stand and testified about alleged premeditated aggression on Brown's part, adding weight to the prosecution's case. Throughout the trial, emotions ran high, with moments of tension, heated exchanges between lawyers, and the judge's repeated calls for order. The media covered every development in minute detail, fueling widespread debate across social media platforms. As the trial drew to a close, anticipation mounted, and when the jury finally delivered a verdict, convicting Brown and sentencing him to life in prison, the reaction was one of disbelief and shock, highlighting the severity of the case and the undeniable impact of the evidence presented. The verdict reverberated far beyond the courtroom, eliciting a wide range of reactions from fans, musicians, and industry insiders. Social media exploded with expressions of shock, sadness, and anger from Brown's loyal supporters, who struggled to accept the harsh reality that their favorite artist would spend the rest of his life behind bars. Many expressed frustration at what they saw as a miscarriage of justice, or a harsh penalty for a conflict they believed could have been resolved outside the courts. Support groups and fan pages mobilized, calling for appeals and pledging to continue supporting Brown despite his legal troubles. On the other hand, many in the music community took a more somber and reflective tone, recognizing the seriousness of the charges and the importance of justice and accountability. Several artists publicly condemned violence, urging for peace and responsible behavior within the industry. Sean Diddy's reputation was also affected, as some questioned his involvement and leadership, though he avoided legal repercussions. The case reignited broader conversations about how fame and power intersect with responsibility, and how the music world handles internal conflicts. Industry leaders began discussing initiatives to foster safer environments at events and promote conflict resolution without resorting to violence. The trial and verdict became a watershed moment, forcing everyone involved to confront uncomfortable truths about celebrity culture and its sometimes dangerous consequences. The sentencing of Chris Brown to life imprisonment sent ripples through the legal community, prompting intense discussion about how the justice system handles high-profile cases involving celebrities. Many legal experts noted that the life sentence was unusual in celebrity cases and reflected the seriousness of the charges, including assault with a deadly weapon and conspiracy, combined with Brown's prior legal record. The court's decision demonstrated a clear message: fame and wealth do not grant immunity from the consequences of violent actions. This ruling has set a potential precedent for future cases, signaling to celebrities and the public alike that the legal system will hold everyone accountable regardless of status. However, some voices within the legal field raised concerns about the influence of media coverage and public opinion on the trial's outcome, worrying that the pressure to make an example of Brown might have affected the fairness of sentencing. Civil rights advocates and defense attorneys warned of potential biases and argued for careful review during the appeals process. The case has become a landmark example in discussions about celebrity justice, the role of media in high-profile trials, and the balance between punishment and rehabilitation. For the legal world, this verdict highlights the complexities of administering justice in cases where public figures are involved, especially when their personal histories intersect with serious criminal allegations. Chris Brown's sentencing cannot be fully understood without considering his extensive history of legal troubles, which undeniably influenced the trial's direction and outcome. Brown has been involved in numerous incidents over the years, including a highly publicized assault on Rihanna in 2009, which dramatically altered public perception of him and marked the beginning of a complicated legal saga. Despite multiple attempts at rehabilitation and image repair, Brown's record of arrests, probation violations, and altercations cast a long shadow over his current trial. Prosecutors leveraged this history to argue that Brown exhibited a pattern of violent behavior, suggesting that the events in the Diddy trial were not isolated, but part of a dangerous trend. Brown's defense team insisted that he had matured and changed since those earlier years, pointing to community work and professional successes as evidence of his growth. However, the court appeared skeptical, emphasizing the consistency of allegations involving violence. This case revealed how a celebrity's past can weigh heavily against them in court, especially when current charges echo previous offenses. It also sparked broader conversations about the challenges of overcoming a tarnished reputation and how courts balance past behavior with present circumstances, particularly for public figures with complicated histories. While Sean "Diddy" Combs was not charged in connection with the incident, the trial undeniably affected his public image and legacy. Known as a powerful mogul and influential figure in music and business, Diddy's association with such a violent and high-profile case raised questions about his role in the altercation and the environment he fostered within his circle. Critics debated whether Diddy's actions and his reputation for aggressive business and personal tactics contributed to the escalation of the conflict. Although the court did not find sufficient evidence to charge him, some fans and industry watchers suggested that his influence shielded him from more severe consequences. In response to the controversy, Diddy issued a rare public statement expressing regret over the incident and promising to promote peace and unity moving forward. However, the trial's fallout has caused damage to his brand, with some sponsors and collaborators reportedly reconsidering partnerships due to the negative publicity. The case also sparked industry-wide discussions about the responsibilities that come with power and influence, especially among those who lead large teams in high-profile events. Diddy's situation underscores how even the most successful figures can face reputational risks when involved in controversy, highlighting the delicate balance between business, personal conduct, and public perception. With Chris Brown now serving a life sentence, many are left wondering what lies ahead for the artist, the music industry, and the broader cultural landscape. Brown's legal team has announced plans to appeal the conviction, arguing that procedural errors, biased media coverage, and jury misconduct may have influenced the trial's outcome. The appeals process could take months or even years, and while fans remain hopeful for a reversal or sentence reduction, legal experts caution that success in such cases is rare.